Well, good evening. Welcome to Yoga Flow. It's Tuesday, April 14th. Hopefully, again, having a little bit of consistency with timing of a few things in your day can be helpful. So we are here at 5:30. If you can't be here at 5:30, it's up in the Facebook feed and eventually will be up on YouTube as well. So just go ahead and just come to a seated position. Sit up nice and tall. And again, whatever seated position lets you sit tall. You don't have to have your legs crossed. I'm actually in hero's pose. If you have a block and a strap or an old necktie, it might be nice to have those handy. We'll probably use those. So let's just sit up nice and tall. Create space in the torso. Let your hands rest on your legs. Close your eyes. And just breathe in and out. So start to connect with your senses. And what does the temperature feel like in your space? Is there background noise? Again, just as an observer, not as a distraction. But keep your eyes closed. And just imagine you're looking into the back side of your eyelids. Just really soften your eyelids and soften your facial features. Soften your jaw, your throat and your neck, your shoulders, your back, your pelvis and your hips, arms and legs, hands and feet, fingers and toes. So you're not only feeling the breath entering and exiting through your breathing passages, also feel what your breath does to your body in terms of expanding your rib cage, pressing your diaphragm down into your belly, which then presses your abdominal organs down into your pelvis. Belly expands and contracts. Shoulders broaden as you inhale. Skin stretches. Lots happening. Let's go ahead and open your eyes and bring your hands into heart center. Connect your thumbs with your breastbone. And that gives you feedback about what your rib cage is doing. Is it lifting upward or is it sagging and slouching? Keep that connection. Just feel that every time we bring the thumbs to the breastbone. Feel the fingertips touching one another. The palms of your hands. Let's interlace the fingers. On your next exhale, go ahead and press your hands out. Let your chin drop. And then squeeze the shoulders towards your ears as you stretch up overhead. And then on an exhale, tilt to the right side. Inhale to come upright. Exhale and tilt to your left side. Inhale and come upright. Separate your hands and turn to the right side. Look over that right shoulder. Bring your hands up and over. Turn to the left side. Look over your left shoulder. Let's go back to the right. Just inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. So you're inhaling as your arms go up. exhaling as they go down. Just a gentle movement. And then come to center. Bring both hands behind your back. Open your chest and just lift your hands up off your hips. And then we're going to lift our hands even further and come to all fours. So if you're cross-legged, you might need to uncross your legs. I'm just going to fold forward, come into a kneeling position, bring the hands through. That brings me to all fours. So we're just going to do a few cat-cows, rounding and arching. So you're rounding both your spine from head to tailbone, but you're also rounding across your shoulders, shoulder to shoulder, and then arching both lines. So just, again, feel that. Come back to neutral. Take your hips side to side. And then we're just going to go ahead and pull back into child's pose. And I'm going to come sideways here because we're going to build this into a little bit of a flow. So in child's pose, arms reaching out, forehead down, hips reaching back for the heels. And I'm wearing a visor to keep my hair from getting in my face as much. So really stretching those hips back, reaching the fingers forward, and we're just going to flow through cat into downward dog. So round the back. As you come through, tuck your toes under, and then just lift those sit bones up. Come into downward dog. Holding here for 4 breaths. And then coming back down, drop the knees down, put the tops of the feet on the mat. Pull the hips back, stretch, hold for 4 breaths here. Again, feeling what's happening with your rib cage and your breathing as you've got your arms extended like they are. And we'll go again, rounding the back, tuck the toes under, flow into that downward dog. This time we'll hold that for 2 breaths. Just breathe in and out. And then exhale, drop back down, knees down, tops of the feet on the mat. Hold for 2 breaths here. And then rounding, flowing into downward dog. Hold for a single breath. Flow back down. Tops of the feet on the ground, and again, pull back and hold just for a single breath. Let's do that again, rounding, flowing through this. We're going to come down one last time. And then make our way into downward dog. And stay here for a few breaths. So really think about first lifting those sit bones. Basically, put your pelvis in such a position that your spine can freely reach out of your pelvis down toward the ground. Decompresses your spine. Let's walk the dog, alternate bending one knee then the other. And then we're going to work kind of backwards into a sun salutation today. So realign your heels. Look under your body like you're looking through your legs. And then start to look towards your hands. And as you do, your shoulders are going to shift forward. And that right leg comes underneath. Drop that left knee down, top of the foot on the mat. And just inhale and lift up. Kneeling lunge. Again, fuller breaths here. Pointing the tailbone toward the floor, feeling that stretch in the front of the left hip. Exhale, bring your hands down. Step back into plank, and we're going to go directly from plank into downward dog. Elevate those sit bones, lengthen the spine, breathe. Spread your fingertips, press your second and third fingers, index and middle finger into the ground. Again, look under your body and start to look towards your hands as your shoulders shift forward. Bring that left leg with it. Put the top of the right foot on the mat. Lift up, kneeling lunge. So really extend upwards. Exhale, bring it down. Step back into plank. Let's go ahead and press into downward dog again. We're going to go through each leg 2 more times. So again, get that spine lengthened. Just a couple of breaths this time. Look under your body. Start to look towards your hands. Step your right foot up. Drop that back leg down. Put the top of the foot on the mat. Lift up. Exhale, bring your hands down. Press back into plank. Again, going directly into downward dog. Looking under your body. Look towards your hands. The shoulders come forward. That left foot comes with them. Kneeling lunge. Bring the hands back down. We're going to flow through that one more time on each side. Down into downward dog. So look under your body. Start to look towards your hands. Step that right foot forward. Kneeling lunge. Come back down. So we're getting shorter and shorter holds. Step back into plank. Press into downward dog. Look under the body, toward the hands. Bring that left foot forward. Lift up. Bring the hands back down. Step back into plank. This time we're going to hold the plank. Lower down. And just press into cobra. Keep your arms close to your body. Press all the way through to downward dog. Soften the knees and go ahead and step your feet in between your hands into forward fold. Uttanasana. I'm going to come around and change my orientation a little bit here. So if you can't reach the floor, bridge that gap. Root your feet into the ground. Strong connection. You have a little micro bend in your knees. Flatten the back, keep the core engaged. We're going to squeeze our glutes to come up. Press against your thighs if you need a little extra support there. And we come into Tadasana. So try to have your big toes touching. Your second toe pointed straight ahead. Go ahead and lift your toes, feel your arches activate. Spread your toes and then try to reroot the toes into the ground. Engage your leg muscles, starting at the lower leg. Just imagine your muscles spiraling around all the way up to your hips. Soften the back of your pelvis. Gently elevate your pubic bone. And then just reach your spine right to the top of your head. And breathe. Let's inhale up, reach up, sit the hips back, Utkatasana chair. So you're folding at the hips and knees, your spine is neutral. Engage the muscles around your sit bones and in your lower belly. Fold forward, your hips come up, your head and shoulders drop. Flatten your back, step back into plank. Stabilizing your shoulders and your core. Go ahead and hold that. We're going to lower down. You can either go directly down, chaturanga, or a modified chaturanga, which is what I'm going to do. So I start into the chaturanga, keep my arms close to my body, my knees come down, my chest, finally my hips, and then I press into cobra or upward dog, and then right on through to downward dog. So look under your body. Start to look towards your hands. As you do, step your right foot forward. This time we're coming into warrior one. Start keeping that left knee off the ground. Lift up. Exhale, bring your hands down. Step back into plank. Anchor your shoulder blades against your back ribs, and as you lower down, keep your upper arms close to your rib cage as well. Cobra, downward dog. Look under your body. As you look towards your hands, this time that left foot comes forward. Warrior one, left leg in front. Exhale, bring your hands back down. Step back into plank, stabilize your shoulders and your core. Lower down. Cobra into upward dog and then downward dog. So go ahead and hold that. Let your spine lengthen and decompress. And then soften your knees and either step or hop your feet between your hands. Your knees are bent. Start to unbend your legs, come into chair. Press straight. Bring your arms down by your sides. And then open your shoulders. Roll your elbow creases to the front. Reconnect through your feet with the ground and just breathe. So we're going to repeat this. I'm going to go ahead and face this direction this time, but it'll be the same thing we just did, Sun Salutation B. Let's go ahead and reach up, sit the hips back. Exhale, folding forward, head drops, hips lift, flatten your back, step back into plank. Stabilize your shoulders and your core, knees or toes, lower down, cobra or upward dog. Into downward dog. So your neck's aligned with your spine until just before we come into the warrior. So go ahead now, draw your chin towards your collarbones, look under your body, and then start to lift your head to look towards your hands. Step that left foot forward. Lift up into warrior one. So that head movement, your shoulders will follow your head. It gives you a little more space to get that leg under your body. Let's bring the hands down. Step back into plank. Let's lower down. Cobra or upward dog. Into downward dog. Every time we do this, think about making that spine as long as possible. Look under your body towards your legs. Start to look towards your hands. Your shoulders are shifting forward. Right leg comes underneath. Warrior one. Don't be afraid to shift your feet. Adjust your feet if your hips are feeling like they're getting torqued a little bit. Let's bring the hands back down. Step into plank. Let's lower down. Cobra. Upward dog, and a downward dog. Breathe and lengthen the spine. Slightly bend the knees, and then either step or hop to the front of the mat. Start to unfold the legs. Lift up, Extend the rest of the way up. Exhale your hands down by your sides. All right. And we come back to the mountain. Grounding through our legs and feet, reaching through our spine, connecting at the middle. One more breath. Inhale, lift up. Pull the hands into heart center. Keep that connection between your breastbone and your thumbs. Fold at the hips and knees. So we're coming into chair, but we're squeezing our legs against each other. We're going to put more weight on our left leg and cross that right leg over, intertwining. So we're going to come into eagle. Open your arms up. Right arm is on the bottom. Either put your hands on your shoulders or intertwine the forearms. So reach back through the hips, pulling your upper arms away from your chest, broadening your shoulders. So hold this and breathe. As we come out of this, we're going to transition into a high lunge. One more breath. My ankles are popping like Rice Krispies here. Undo the hands. Uncross the legs and in one big motion, reach back. Try to have your back heel off the floor. Lift up. So it's a little more of a balance challenge this way. You have less of your back foot on the ground. If you angle your foot out, your hips will shift a little bit, but you will be more stable. And then we're just going to step back together. Press up, exhale down. And again, just recenter at the mountain. Take a couple of breaths. Let's bring the hands back into heart center. Reconnect thumbs to breastbone. Fold at the hips and knees. We'll get the other side. So this time our weight's on our right leg. We're going to cross that left leg over. Intertwine if you can. Put your toe down if you have to. Open your arms. Left arm on the bottom. Shoulders or intertwine. Broaden the shoulders. Keep the spine neutral. Reach back through the hips. Squeeze the upper arms away from the chest. Keep breathing. Notice all the sensations in your body. That foot on the floor, that support leg, your hips, your torso, your shoulders. One more breath. Undo the hands. Undo the legs. Take a big step back. High lunge. Doesn't have to be a gigantic step. Try to look straight ahead. And step the feet back together. Relax the arms. Roll the shoulders open. Try to lower them down from the ears as you gently elevate the collarbones. Root through the feet. Reach through the top of the head. All right. So if you have a block, you might want to just have it handy. We're going to go to a white-legged stance here. So I'm going to move back onto my second mat. And just bring your hands to the center here. And then we're just going to jump the feet about 4 feet apart, depending on how long your legs are. Go ahead and turn your right toe to the right side. And we're going to start by coming into Warrior Two, Virabhadrasana 2. So your knee starts to go out over that foot, but doesn't cover up the toes. It also tries to align with your second and third toe, rather than falling forward. And then just shift your hips a little bit. You might have to do some little minor adjustments of that foot position of that left foot. So let's go ahead and turn our right palm toward the ceiling and lift up. And then come over into side angle. Reach straight up the first time. And then come back. Reverse warrior. Side angle. This time is extended side angle, so thumb to the shoulder. Now it's in line with the body. Try to get a nice straight line if you can. Deepen the hip. The bottom hand is supported by the leg or reaching under the body, and that helps turn the ribs and the shoulders. So really root into your feet, engage your belly, breathe. Come back to warrior 2. Let's come back to center. All 10 toes to the front. Wide-legged forward fold. Take your head, let your head be upside down, heart over your head. And then squeeze into your legs like you're trying to slide them apart. Push into your thighs if you need it. Open your arms out to the sides. We're going to, okay. I still haven't figured out how to disable that. All right, so warrior 2. And turn that palm up. Let's come into reverse warrior. And then side angle. The first time, just reach up. So it's more about getting opening across here, reaching that hand even backwards a little bit. And then lift up again. So we're keeping that left leg bent and supporting all this the whole time. And then we're going to come into an extended side angle. So now, thumb to the shoulder, extend it in line with the body. Try to deepen the hip angle. You can support on the leg or reach underneath. Breathe. One more breath. On the exhale, come back to warrior 2. Come back to center. This time with the wide-legged forward fold, you might consider having a block and putting your head on the block. Not that it's bearing any weight, it's just as a kind of a placement thing. I guess metaphorically, if you feel like your mind's kind of all over the place, a lot of vibration going on, something's vibrating, basically place it on something solid to try to quiet it down. Squeeze into your legs, come back up, and just scoot that block over by your right foot. You're going to come back out with the arms to the side and turn that right toe out and set up for Trikonasana or triangle. So I always like to get the hips kind of rocked into place. Feel what you need to with that back leg. And have a little bit of a lift in the bottom of the body first, bottom side of the ribs. And then reach out and connect with your leg or a block. And having the block on the inside, if you're kind of pushing into the block, try to push this bottom shoulder slightly forward, which will tip the top shoulder back, give you more space to reach that arm upward toward the ceiling. Have a little tiny bend in that front knee. Breathe, keep lengthening that spine. Again, notice what you're feeling in your hips. Be aware. Be connected. All right. We're going to take this top hand down. This is where we're going to bend the knee and do a little pivot and just come into a high lunge here, or lunge with our hands on the block. And really open your front hip to the front leg to the front, back leg to the back. The block will help you get that stretch. Keep that torso lifted up. A lot of times we try to put our hands down on the floor. For the purposes of this stretch, not so much. All right, push into that front leg, we just pivot right back across. Put the block over there, come back to center. Every time you shift and stretch one way, you get back to center. Usually you're a little bit off center here, so all right. Lift the arms out, turn that left toe out. Again, I'm kind of tilting those hips, feel those hips shifting. And where does that back foot want to go? How much you want to turn it inward? Start to extend first, even a little upward. Keep that extension and find a connection with that hand. And again, it's not a major source of support. You're not dumping weight down there. You're just connecting. So feel that, pulling that bottom shoulder underneath, which will tip that top shoulder back, which hopefully will give you more clearance to stretch that arm upward. Now, the other thing to try is turn that hand. Different positions of the hand and the arm and the shoulder socket influence the range of motion as well. Keep breathing, really open up here. And then we're going to soften that front knee, bring that arm down, look to the left side. I'm just supporting myself. My goal right now is to really reach down that back leg. Really feel that stretch. And then push it back to center. And we're going to, this time, grab our legs as we bend forward. Ankles, big toes, whatever works for you. Again, that anytime your heart's over your head, you're in an inversion, and that's what we're after tonight. Trying to get some sense of an inversion in our sequence tonight. All right. Release the hands, press into your thighs, come back up. Wide stance, arms reaching out. We're going to come back to Tadasana, or mountain pose. Hop the legs together. And just come, let the big toes touch again. Stand nice and tall. And just imagine your body's a pillar of energy. That connection into the ground, into the earth. Breathe. Softening the back of the hips, gently elevating the pubic bone. Let's take one more breath in. And then we're just going to slowly fold forward. Take the block over to your left side. We're going to come down to all fours. We'll be using this block shortly. So we're going to start out in just a regular bird dog. Reach out with your right arm and your left leg. So flex that left foot so you're reaching through your heel. Pull that back and switch sides. Extend the leg and the arm. Try to keep your body as squared up as possible. It's real easy to throw your body weight into the side where the leg's still down on the floor. And bring it back. Let's go ahead and press from here into a downward dog. We're going to come into a little different stretching sequence here. Lift the back, lift the sit bones. So we're going to step that right leg forward, but this time it's going to be on the outside of the right arm. And go ahead and reach through that left leg to the back. We're going to actually work our way. We're going to do this twice. The first time just like this. The second time we're going to work our way into more of a bound pose. So go ahead and take your right hand for now. Slide it behind your calf. Brace your arm into your calf. Use that arm to push that leg just a little bit farther forward. Still gently grounding onto the floor. You don't want to feel all your weight dump into your left arm all of a sudden. Take it back through. Step back. Let's go ahead and press into downward dog again. So give yourself space now to bring that left leg forward on the outside of your left arm, so go ahead and do that. You decide how big your stride is. If you're more comfortable a little higher, do that. If it's, again, really opening front to back, bring that hand behind, brace the arm into the calf, push that leg forward. Continue to reach strongly down that back leg. Bring that hand back around, press back, drop the knees down, pull the hips back. We're going to rest before we do this again. Alright, so this brings us back to that flow we had earlier. Child's pose, let's press through cat into downward dog. So I've got my block handy. It will be necessary this time. So I'm going to go ahead and again step my right foot forward on the outside of my right arm. But this time I'm going to get the block in here and be higher. But I'm still wedging my arm into my leg. So what makes this a bound pose is when you basically wrap limbs around other parts of your body. So I'm going to take my left hand, back of the hand, lay it across my back, push the back of the hand into my back, and again that opens the shoulder. Brace that bottom arm into the leg. So technically right now you are in a bound pose. I'll show you an option. I will qualify this by, I always do because I do have a really long wingspan, and if you don't think that helps, it definitely makes a difference. If you want to take that right hand off the block and come under your leg, hook your fingers, that is an option. Highlight the word option. One more breath, and start to come out of it. Get that support back. Bring that hand around. Pivot back into that lunge. Come back down to all fours. Pull the hips back and rest. Stay there for some breaths. I'm just going to turn around so the other piece of this is most of our bodies have different ranges of motion depending on the side of the body. So you guys just saw my best side. All right, round the back, press into downward dog. So we'll go ahead and step that left leg forward outside that left hand. Go ahead and get the block in there to get the torso supported a little higher. You also have you can also rest on that leg. I didn't really point that out that first time. So the right hand, you open up that shoulder. You want to put the back of your hand into your lower back and just press into that. That's going to squeeze this shoulder backwards. Brace your left arm into your leg. So you're basically using your legs and your hand against your back to turn your rib cage, turn your shoulders. So you can stay with that or try to reach under. And guess what? It's a lot harder to reach under on this side. Just breathe. Root that front foot into the ground. One more breath. And then come back around. Step back. And we come into child's pose again. Lift, reach those hips back, reach the arms forward. come out of this. And this is another place where your strap, if you have one, or just some way to connect your hands will come in handy. We're going to do cow face. So, to come in from all fours, we're just going to bring that right leg underneath. Rotate that knee out. Bring that left leg around. Cross the legs. If you're tipping way over sideways to get this leg across, just bring it here instead. So I've got my left leg on top. So I'm going to have my right hand on top here. What I'm going to do is bring my hand down here, my other hand up, and try to connect them. So if I can hook my fingers at the second knuckle and get a good pull, then you don't need the strap. But I would suggest starting with the strap, and then if you figure out you don't need it, you can drop it. So strap in your right hand, sit tall, root into that right sit bone, let that hand come down. Your left hand comes behind. And this is what we were preparing for when we were trying to wrap our arms around our body 2 minutes ago. So you feel that right elbow reaching up or pushing upward, that tilts the whole shoulder girdle. Left arm's pulling down, so you get some real oppositional energy here. Press your head into that top arm. That helps extend your spine and breathe. Relax your jaw. Exhale, release the strap, release your arms. Uncross your legs. Come back around to all fours. So we're going to come into the other side the same way we did the first. So this time the left leg's going to be in front, so it's going to come and just rotate out however much it can. Come onto the outside of that thigh, swing that right leg around. Again, a little difference. I can easily cross the leg over on this side. I can't on the other, so again, there's that asymmetry that really is common to most of us. Now the left hand's on top, strap in the hand if you need it. Let it hang down. Reach back with your right hand. Reach toward try to connect on that strap. Walk your hands together if you can. Get them as close as possible so the right shoulder is an elbow or pressing upward. That tips that left side. Left side's up, right side's down. Now this is where I'm getting really turning around with this camera. I was trying to mirror everybody, and then I realized when the videos are showing up on Facebook that I'm kind of like mirroring a mirror. So it cancels out the mirroring effect. So my right and left are really out of whack right now. So I got the top side is pulling up, the bottom side is pulling down. Head's pressing into the top arm. One more breath. Release on an exhale. Under your hands. And go ahead and uncross your legs. Give them a little shake. And then we're going to go ahead and just come into cobbler's pose. So scoot your sit bones back enough to start that you're still solidly feeling those sit bones on the ground. Just hang on to your legs and just pull and just feel your pelvis rock even farther forward. So the top of the pelvis is rocking forward. The sit bones are rooting even more strongly into the ground. Shoulders are relaxed. Upper arms are pulling into the side ribs. Breathe in and out. Just notice how your legs open. Hip anatomy is a factor. Some of you are going to, there'll be people that can get their legs flat on the floor. There'll be people that can only go to here. Chances are, a lot of it's bone structure. So relax a little bit, and we're just going to open our feet like the pages of a book. So push the pinky toe under and pull the big toe wide, and still sit tall. release, and again, just work the bones of your feet. Maybe if we're at home more, we're not stuffing our feet into shoes as much, so we'll let the bones move around. All right. Let's relax from that. Straighten the legs out. And bring your left leg along. First, it's going to come along the inside of the right. So you're going to have your right toes pointing toward the ceiling. And we're going to literally start over here and come all the way across with this stretch. So line your chest up with your bent knee and just extend the chest out over the leg. It doesn't mean fall over. That means elevate and press. And every time we shift our ribs around, take a breath, feel that. That inside out stretch. Press up. Continuing to face that left leg, we're going to reach our right hand toward our right leg. Grab your toe if you can, or your lower leg. And again, go sideways out over that right leg. There's still a little bit of a lift, like when we were in triangle. We're trying to lift that bottom side of the rib cage, not just collapse sideways. Elevate and lean and reach. There's something just past those left fingertips that you really want to grab, really want to get a hold of. And then we're just going to lift up, turn the chest, line it up now with your right thigh. Bring your hands to your mat. Press the chest out over that leg. And then finally, right fingertips, what I call spider fingers. We're going to push into the fingers into the floor and slide our left hand over and push into the leg and see where our rib cage ends up. It helps pull the ribs around. And take a breath here. And release. Let's go ahead and switch sides, straighten that left leg, give it a little shake. Now the right foot is again anywhere. It can be clear down at the knee, it could be clear up here. You could even come into a half lotus if your legs and hips want to go there. So right or left toes are pointing toward the ceiling. Turn your torso toward this leg and just start to extend out over that leg. Keep trying to root that left sit bone. Breathe. Notice if your shoulders are starting to creep towards your ears. I just caught mine doing that. And lift up. Reach sideways down that leg. Grab something, a toe. And then lift up overhead with that right arm so you're getting a good elevation of the right side of your rib cage. Keep breathing. Every time we bend one side and expand the other, that redirects our breath. Lift up, hands come down, we square the chest up with that left leg and just reach that chest out over that thigh. Use your mat for leverage. You can press your palms into it and just start to, it's like you're trying to slide your hands back, but the mat grabs your hands, so that helps pull your body forward. And then go ahead and get the spider fingers going with that left hand. Right arm reaches across the outside of that left leg. Push the fingers into the floor and pull on that leg. Feel the ribs get drawn around just a little bit farther. Breathe in and out. Exhale and release. All right, uncross your legs. Give them a little shake. I'm just going to finish with a seated forward fold. So same thing here, instead of just flopping over, lift the chest like you're trying to take your chest out to your knees, and then just reach down those legs. Grab part of your legs or your feet if you can. I always like to share my story of how I got sold on yoga 24 years ago. I was having some major issues. I was having back issues that I thought were because I had tight hamstrings and tight piriformis muscles. So I started practicing a yogic type of stretching, which was nothing like anything I'd learned in grad school, exercise science grad school. And always had the idea that you can increase your sit and reach 2 or 3 inches, but nothing dramatic. I went from not being able to touch my toes to over about 5 years getting my fingers past my toes, and now I can get my whole heel of my hand on my toes. And I'd been stretching, the old passive, old school stretches, for 20 years up to that point, and hadn't made any progress. So it definitely can help. All right, so we're going to head into Shavasana, and I think a really good calming pose for most of us would be to take our legs up the wall. You might try something different tonight if you want to have a block under your hips. So what that would look like is get your legs around first, get close, and then just lift up and park the block like right at the edge of your pelvis, and it just pulls on the flesh on your back, right where your lumbar spine meets your pelvis, and it's kind of a nice decompression for that. You might give it a try. Even if you have a firm pillow, that would work as well. It'd be kind of like a bolster. But find a way to get comfortable. So we've been actively rooting into the ground and reaching, and now we're just going to become completely passive. Just let the ground support us, hold us up. And again, reconnect to the physical sensations that accompany your breathing. Feel how the contact points of the ground shift with your breath. Your back against the ground, your hips against the ground. And then just try to let go of your thoughts. Let your heart take the driver's seat. Try to let your mind quiet down if you can. If thoughts wander in, just let them go. No judgment. Just notice. ease yourself out of Shavasana slowly and gently. Coming onto your right side, maybe pausing there for a breath or so, and then eventually making your way back to an upright seated position. So today's thought, and I'm going to, in line with the kind of the whole theme of our practice today, is heart up, brain down. Sometimes just even the act of slowly lifting the collarbones, lifting the heart upward and bringing the chin down, even if you don't fully invert and get the heart completely over the head, that can have a calming effect. So when all else fails, sit or stand with awareness. Slightly lower your chin, bring your brain down, and lift your chest to bring your heart up. Now you will be more likely to choose skillful words and actions. Namaste.